This video is going to be about renovating our kitchen, and so my kitchen is going to be shut down for 3 weeks. The only means that I will have for food without having to go out is to use a microwave, which I really don't like to do that, but I'd rather do that than eat out, you know, for 3 weeks. But I will tell you though that I have used some recipes that weren't mine. Big Family Homestead. I love their cookbook. It's everything you can find in your cupboard. It's not all this fancy ingredients that you can't pronounce. Okay, I'm going to start with this ham. It was given to me. It's a spiral ham, and I'm going to make good use out of this ham. I'm not going to let nothing go to waste. So I'm going to put it in the oven, and I'm going to bake it for 270 degrees for about 2 hours. So I have many uses for this ham. I will cover it. And then I'll bake it for about 2 hours. Now that the ham is in, the next thing I'm going to make is chili. So I'm going to go ahead and fry this all up.
Add your chopped onions and your chopped celery and your chopped green peppers. And then add 2 pounds of ground chuck. Now this meat was raised, we had raised from our steer. Now I am adding the garlic in the shaker there because my husband does not like garlic cloves.
Now that that is all fried up, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. And I will leave at a side note of how much I'm using of everything here. So, and I'll tell you now, like this is 2 tablespoons of chili powder,
one tablespoon of parsley, one teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of cocoa.
Okay, so
add the spices to the meat, and then add the rest of the ingredients that was listed on the side of the video here in the beginning. And then you add, of course, like I said, your tomatoes and your kidney beans, and then let it simmer for about 2 hours until done.
okay, the next thing we're going to make is beef stroganoff, and I will say that I got this recipe from the Big Family Homestead. So we're going to go ahead and brown this. Oh, I'm about out of oil. Alright, I recycle. And I will use a little bit of this. And we'll throw this in. Now for seasoning, it's Monterey Jack seasoning. Now I do make my own Monterey Jack seasoning mix.
Now we're going to heat the oil in a hot pan, then we're going to season the beef. That's what that flour, salt, pepper, and steak seasoning is. Sprinkle, I guess, as much as to your taste as you like it. Okay, then we're going to brown the meat up. All right, now we're going to add the onions. They are sliced, they're not diced, sliced onions. And we're going to cook the onions until they are soft. Okay, now I'm going to add the beef broth. And that beef broth is from our cow that we had butchered. I made a bunch of broth. Now, I don't have the mustard that the recipe is calling for, so I just used my regular old yellow mustard. Yeah, I think I add a little bit more. Hope I don't forget the little spoon down in there I just dropped in. Oh, I forgot. I seen the red pepper flakes sitting there, and I forgot to put that in the chili. Okay, we're gonna, like I said, cook it until it simmers, or until it softens, the onions. All right, we're gonna add it to the broth, and then we're going to bring that to a simmer and cook it until it's tender. Now, that will boil down some, and then right before serving you add sour cream and you stir it evenly mixed, and then you stir it over hot noodles.
The next thing that I'm going to make is meatloaf. I will say this meatloaf comes from an old Betty Crocker cookbook that I just looked at. It was published in 1986, and I'm still using this recipe. So, and I don't use canned spray to do my, you know, oh, I can't think what it's called. You guys know what it is. Keep things from sticking. I use Crisco oil, and it works to me a lot better than the sprays do.
Add 1.5 pounds of ground beef, 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, a small onion chopped, 3 slices of bread, or you can use 3/4 a cup of quick oats. And then 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I'm sure there are many ways that people can pronounce that. A tad more. Alright, and then 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of rubbed sage, and 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of mustard. Okay, then I use my hands to mix it all up with. It's just a lot easier. Now I'll put these in the, I use 2 pans for 2 meals. Now if you add some raw bacon on top, usually about 2 slices each. It's up to you. If you like more, put more on there. Now you can use ketchup to top it off with, or chili sauce, or barbecue sauce, whatever you like. And then bake it at 350 for about an hour, hour and 1 1/4 hours. There you go.
Now I took this recipe and I split it in half. So that way I'll have 2 meals with it. This is ready to put in the oven, but I'm not going to do it yet because I'm also going to make the unstuffed cabbage casserole, which also is another recipe I'm using from the Big Family Homestead. I love the recipes. So that also goes into the oven at the same temperature and approximately the same time. So that way I can, save my electricity. So, because everything we have here is electricity. So I'll put those 2 in at the same time. So in the meantime, I have about 15 minutes left on the ham. And as soon as that goes off, then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to take a break here for a second and run out and take care of my chickens. And then I'll be back to make the cabbage casserole. Let's go ahead and finish this cabbage casserole. So I'm using bacon grease. Whew.
Okay, we're going to add, I don't have olive oil, so I used the bacon grease that we had from our hogs. So we fry up the hamburger, and then we add onions, and again those are onions that I had grown from my garden. So we'll saute that up, cook it all up real good, or brown it, not saute it. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add some of the ingredients, and here we will add some parsley flakes, and yes, that is cabbage from my garden also. I do raise some herbs. I did run out of parsley. Now we'll add some salt to our taste. Then we will add some pepper also to our taste. Alright, the next thing we are adding, and I noticed for some reason I added some more Italian seasoning, which is not in the recipe, but I see where I made the mistake where it talked about Italian seasoned diced tomatoes. So I guess it doesn't hurt to add a little extra. Oh, that's why I added the Italian seasoning, because I didn't have it in my canned tomatoes. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, get that one out. Okay. Alright, now we're going to add the cooked rice. It can either be brown rice or white rice. So we have 2 cups of that. Stir it up real good. Now I will say that later on, after I put it in the pan, before I put it in the pan, it doesn't show it in the video, and I had some bacon that I left over. I fried up a bunch of bacon crumbles, and the thought just went through my mind, boy, that would taste good with bacon crumbles in it also. So I did add bacon crumbles to it. I believe I added about, I think I had maybe a half a cup, because that's all the bacon crumbles I had. But stir that up really good. Ooh, my glasses were steaming up there. Okay. Boy, the smell of that. Oh, it is so good. I've never tried this before.
Try it here.
But boy, does it look good. A lot easier than stuffing peppers. Now I will say that after the video we did bake this, and it was awesome. Very, very good. Very good recipe. Alright, and then what you do, you bake it at 350 for about a half hour.
The last thing I have to do now is make the potato patties. I got everything else, I think, pretty much done. So what's left over of the, I have a sink right there. I'm not throwing it on the floor. With the mashed potatoes would be the potato patties. That would hit the floor. Okay. Alright, I always get a little bit of flour on my hand. I'm gonna make a mess here, but and just patty them up here. Keep them pretty simple. I just salt and pepper, and that's it. I said I put a couple eggs in this batch. Now these are kind of big. Let's tone it down a little bit there. At least get a couple meals out of them. Right, Toby?
Yeah.
Alright. He's patted up. It's messy. Put that in there. That one in here. There we go.
Add whatever oils you want in your pan. I like to add butter also, give it a little bit of buttery taste. Then I do add salt and pepper in my flour mixture and just sprinkle it on both sides. Now I like to put these in the freezer and use wax paper in between them so that way they don't stick. And these are really good for breakfast. You can heat them up in the microwave or put them in the oven or throw them on the stove and get them crispied up. So not only they do go good with breakfast, they can also go good, you know, with dinner. Boy, those look good. My mom used to make these all the time for us when we were little kids. Okay, there you go. And let them, again, let them cool off.